watching those clips.
I think they should just put that on
I know,
all morning.
all morning, definitely. So you're going on tour?
Yes.
We're going on tour to celebrate 25 years of Dead Ringers,
Amazing.
which just seems incredible. Yes, we've got a new radio series coming up, and the tour in the autumn. So get your tickets now. Yeah.
On a serious note,
Yeah.
it'll be tinged with sadness.
It will.
Because
Yes.
Bill Dare, anyone who's heard Dead Ringers will know,
Yes.
the producer and creator,
Yes.
Bill
Dare.
They
Bill
just-
Dare.
I only say it in
as
Tom
Tom
Baker's
Baker
voice.
says, died very suddenly a few months ago.
Yes, it's still a very surreal, unbelievable thing that we're carrying with us. It doesn't stop being any less surreal. But we've got to carry on. Bill gave such an identity and a spirit to the show, in terms of how it should be made, in terms of how the comedy works, and he left such a strong essence of that that we'll carry that with us and we'll infuse it into the new show. And we've got to keep that carrying on, and we'll certainly do that.
And actually, we've been contributing to. There's a show as a tribute to Bill on Radio 4. Coming up, I think it's June the 12th.
Okay.
So, as well as the new series starting, there'll hopefully be, I mean, what can you say? It just seems such a terrible, terrible tragedy. But, as John says, he would have wanted us to go on, and it was such a passion of his. He just loved impressions, didn't he?
The Mary Whitehouse experience.
The Now Show.
When we think of David Baddiel and comedians addressing arenas, Bill was very much at the forefront of that. Spitting Image he created, he oversaw some of the finest times of Spitting Image. He just had that mind. And when we got together for a read-through of the first drafts of the script, Bill would be there looking very sort of scrutinising in a very relaxed way, and we thought, we're all right here. He's going to fashion this into a good show. We'll be fine.
And it's lasted for 25 years. I mean, how has being an impression, how has it changed over 25 years? Obviously, the characters have changed. Yeah. But, how does your side of it change and sort of move on, I suppose?
Well, it feels a bit different, in the Tony Blair years, in the George Bush years, that there was a certain rhythm to the comedy. I think after the Brexit time, news and politics and everything, current affairs, seemed to really... with social media coming in to drive it, it seemed to be much faster, much more fervent, changing much more unpredictably. And the writers were like this, and watching the TV and writing in real time. And there we were, keeping up with that. Easier for us, I suppose, isn't it?
I mean, certainly from my point of view, looking at the Ringers telly series, which finished in 2007, I mean, there were so much fewer female politicians, and over the years, because that's what I focus on, Fiona Bruce doing the newsreaders, and so with people like, Theresa May, appearing on the steps of Downing Street with that diplophonic voice, doing her own desk count, and just besieged by tension.
Which is true, isn't it? Anyone, I mean, she was a lovely, lovely person, but anyone who's interviewed her, she just seemed besieged by tension. That's a good phrase.
I mean, and then, of course, we got the onslaught of Liz Truss, who, by contrast, had this boundless confidence and self-belief, contrary to any sort of seeming achievements.
It's my favourite. What's Liz Truss's catchphrase?
I know! Well, I always thought from the very first moment I saw her, she seemed like this little girl whose daddy had always told her she was funny and was sort of seeking applause from everybody around her. But yes, it was. She was a bit of a gift, but short-lived. But yeah.
We should talk about the menfolk as well, really, shouldn't we?
Yes.
Donald Trump. I mean, there's some big characters on the scene at the moment.
Huge characters. I mean, I think he's very different this time around. I think he's a lot more meandering. I think he's very sort of anecdotal. Can you believe it? The biggest comeback in political history. You can't stop him, and this kind of thing. Lewis MacLeod, who does him on the show, he's got the Trump grimace there. But he's one of those characters, Trump, just like every DJ has to have the Beatles in their collection. Every impressionist has to. You have to have a Donald, you have to have...
You know, but speaking of the Beatles, you know, might as well just do a quick poll while we're there, you know. This is how it sort of darts about, you know, great.
Do you have a favourite?
Well,
Either of
they
you?
change like stocks and shares, don't they?
I mean, Tom Baker is...
Oh, yes, just the eyes to that, you know, and the great booming eccentricity.
I love scientists. You know, Professor Brian Cox, the moons of Mars are captured asteroids, rather like huge potatoes in orbit around the red planet. You know, ones like scientists who say these fascinating things.
Do you have a
All right.
favourite, John?
Well, you know, Liz and Teresa were big favourites. It's always interesting because it's always changing. That's you know, you're always getting, you know, constant stimulation from whoever's in power. You know, sort of now, you know, we've got Angela Rayner, you know, a shoot from the hip, a don't suffer fools, a daimyo on air over the bath, you know, and she's like real, you know, she's kind of got it all going on. And Rachel Reeves, you know, who, well, if I'm going to be miserable, you're damn well all going to be miserable with me. And it's so funny with the Labour Party. It always seems like a sort of nursery school where there's always a cold going
I'm glad
round.
we got Rachel Reeves on, because we couldn't get a straight answer out of Steve Reid about whether they're going to U-turn on winter fuel allowance. Are you going to U-turn Rachel Reeves?
I will, in due course, the Prime Minister and I will consult and will come to a prudent conclusion, I'm sure.
As Keir Starmer has been hypnotised to say the truth, so yes. We realise there was an appalling reaction to that, so yes, we're changing it.
There we are, straight answers.
There you go.
Brilliant. That's the first one in the morning.
First one in the morning. Absolutely.
Only one ever.
It's lovely to meet you both.
So
Well, I've met
lovely.
you before, John, but lovely to meet you, Jen.
Very
Thank
nice
you
to see
so
you.
much
Thank
for coming
you.
in.
Good luck with the tour.
Yes, yes, that's our autumn sorted.
Absolutely. It's nice to have a bit of light relief on there.
It really is.